The Bad Boys podcast is brought to you by Iconic Motor House, the guys making your motoring fantasies a reality. Visit iconicmotorhouse.com.
Today on the show, we go deep underground with the Dutch Drug Cartel prison.
The former prison guard with a very weird Tinder profile.
Plus, we get fired up about the Joe Rogan debacle.
All that and more on the Bad Boys podcast.
If you want the hard-hitting journalism of Four Corners, the reliable current affairs of, well, a current affair, and the planning that goes into classy shows like The Project, then you've tuned into the wrong podcast. It's comedy, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and news stories that makes Fox News sound like an episode of The Muppets. Or maybe it's the other way around. Conversations no one wants to have, but everyone wants to hear. This is the Bad Boys Podcast. Welcome to the Bad Boys Podcast. Seriously, looking at Andrew's face.
It's all in the face. Dancing's all in the face. So I've been dancing, not professionally, I might add, because, well, nobody's going to pay me to dance. It's fucking ridiculous. But every time I dance, you've got to pull this face. There's a certain face that goes along, and it's all in the face. If you want to get people to crack up, you can dance like Madonna's, person behind them.
The
dancers,
yeah, right.
Right, the dancers, that's right. But if you pull a face and just keep it going and stuff like that, you'll have everyone in stitches. Absolutely.
See, I'm just no good at pulling faces. Whereas you've got this animated face, like you can just lift your eyebrows and suddenly you've just got like this. I know, it's kind of like one of those bobbleheads.
Right, I know. It's really kind of, it's bordering on scary.
Psychopathic,
Right.
It's like, is this guy just, funny, or is he just an absolute fucking psycho? Hey, speaking of psychos, I'm just I'm staring at some weird looking bloody equipment here.
Yeah.
This is in a story that we're going to talk about, which is the underworld prison that this drug cartel in Netherlands, and they've got like gas burners, pruning shears, loppers, saws, scalpels, pliers, handcuffs, finger cuffs, masking tapes, or as Andrew puts it, another Saturday night at his place.
Right. Nothing wrong with a bit of S&M. I mean, it's the dentist chair. I mean, look, I'm a big fan of some good couch sex.
But strap me into a dentist chair, look out.
I know, right? Who doesn't want to have sex on a dentist chair? Now, having said that, I've never had that thought while I was at the dentist, although some of the dentist nurses really have got me thinking. But it's usually the crusty old middle-aged guy bloody examining my mouth. But
then there's that horrible bosses, right? With Jennifer Aniston as the dentist. And she's like all over these guys, and it's kind of, yes, she's very sexy, but it was just almost too far to the point where it's like suddenly I'm afraid.
Look, it's a funny thing. That's one of those movies I really struggle to watch because
Really?
it just, you're watching it. Look, and don't get me wrong, massive fan of Jennifer Aniston. I think she's as hot as fuck. The older she gets, I reckon the sexier she gets. That's just me. I've always had a thing for older women. But this whole, the way she does it in that movie, you're just sitting back, and at first you probably might be thinking, yeah, sure, give it a go. Why not?
Why not?
But
Until
it's
you
just
realise
so in your face
It's
all
just
the
that-
time and stuff, and you're going, fuck.
it's that little bit of crazy, like when you
Right.
can see like that glint in their eyes, and it's just like,
And you just have a realisation. Is this what every woman that's ever worked in an office or in a organisation, is that what they have to deal with creepy, fat, fucking smelly, middle-aged, bald, useless fucks coming onto them all of the time? I bet you it is.
Pretty
I
much.
bet you that's exactly how it feels.
pretty much. But it's also like that the chick on Wedding Crashers where
Yes.
he says, oh, but
God, you're bringing out all the golden oldies now.
yeah, what if I'm not around? And she's like, but it doesn't matter where you go, I'll find you. And it's like, oh my God, she's a complete psycho.
So that's Isla Fisher. She's playing that role in there. And I think she's great. I mean, she's not only good old Aussie talent and stuff like that, but she does that quietly psycho kind of dodgy chick who, again, you probably think, oh, look, she's kind of cute. But when she becomes more and more unhinged, you're thinking, what the fuck have I gotten myself into?
Exactly.
Been there before myself, actually. Many, many years ago.
So speaking of wondering what they got into, the Dutch police in Rotterdam actually stumbled upon a soundproofed torture chamber, complete with the dentist chair and all of the equipment that we talked about, inside a shipping container in a warehouse, right? So it's in a shipping container in a warehouse and it's soundproofed. I'm pretty sure some dodgy shit's going to be happening in there, right? So it was being used by criminals in 2020.
Right.
They also found a chemical toilet fitted with manacles.
Handcuffs attached to the floor, yep.
Yep. A freezer large enough to hold more than one person.
Right. And I think it all depends how you chop them up.
Yeah, that's right. You could probably fit four, maybe.
Yeah, right. A freezer for 2 can suddenly become a freezer for 6, and it's a bit of like a chopped up orgy. But that's
exactly right.
Everybody loves a good orgy. Yeah.
And a mixing tub allegedly set to be used for waterboarding victims.
Right. See, this is the interesting thing. Why hasn't the Australian government figured this out before? Like, seriously? I mean, what a brilliant idea. Shipping container inside a warehouse, it's aligned, soundproofed, and all that sort of stuff can be used as different types of torture chambers. Look, they've even got 2 or 3 of them lined up next to each other. It's like a virtual torture chamber hotel going on there.
It's like a torture chamber smorgasbord.
Right, like tiny homes gone psycho.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, look, it's got a chair, it's got a shitter.
What more do you need, right?
Right.
It's a one room, not much cleaning involved.
No, that's exactly right.
Low maintenance.
I mean, the guy from, what is it, 50 Shades of Bloody Purple or whatever it is, he's got to be loving a bit of that.
Oh, I'm sure. He'd be like, that's my go-to.
Right.
So apparently this all happened as part of these raids that the Encro chat network, basically they broke into that, cracked that, and it resulted in. So
is this the same one that the AFP coppers busted as well? The same kind of network?
I don't think so. I don't know whether it was related to it or not.
Because you remember what that was all about.
Yeah, with the app on people's
right, and the coppers had effectively, or a guy had created the app, and they got the guy to then infiltrate the entire mafias and drug networks and all that sort of stuff, and all of them were using the app, and the entire time, for years, quite literally, they they were getting the data of people getting killed and drug deals happening, and they were slowly busting them one by one, but then it all went pear-shaped and they needed to call it in.
No, I'm pretty sure that this was actually like happening before that. They managed to crack into the network and the chat of this particular network. They seized more than $100 million in cash. 800 people were arrested, 77 firearms, 2 tons of drugs, and a partridge in a pear tree. So,
as it turns out. And a few shipping containers that are now available on Airbnb for that slightly obscure left-of-centre kind of holiday that you're after.
Exactly. Extended stays.
That's exactly right.
So they referred to the rooms as the treatment rooms.
Looking at that dentist chair, there's some treatment definitely going on.
So this is all in the chat, right? So the detainee was the dog who'd gone missing. And another person said, when I get him in the chair, there will be more, maybe talking about more information that would be coming forward. Like these guys were just like joking about, I hope I get the chance to torture them. If they don't cooperate, I'll get them right in the knee.
Nice.
Fuck, yeah. Oof. I mean, the mind just boggles, right?
I'm just thinking of all of these things. Yep.
The mind boggles. I mean, like whatever torture you could think of, these guys have put it all. They've got like different torture rooms, and the funny thing is, you pay big money to go into those torture rooms in Sydney.
Too damn right you would. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm thinking this is dead set a full-on fucking crazy business idea ready to take off.
Hell Central. Here we go.
Right, absolutely. Maybe we could call it Bad Boys B&B or something like that.
Bad Boys. Did you say B&B or B&M?
Oh, no, B&B I was thinking. You know, hey, they've got to have breakfast as well. Everybody loves a good bacon and eggs after a good torturing.
Just doesn't, yeah. Whose bacon is it really?
Yeah, Franks and beans.
You know, you were talking in the last episode about Great Balls of Fire. Well.
Talking about Great Balls of Fire.
The former prison guard who was sacked because she was playing with someone's fiery balls of excitement inside the prison.
That's right.
So Melissa Goodwin has actually set up a brand new, actually put it on Instagram. I think it's part of her Tinder as well. But, she's put up this specific requirements for a partner. Now,
so you're saying she's got a Tinder profile. So this is not for her to pick up people in jail.
It's actually an Instagram. No, it's not. It's not. She's decided that there's just too much hassle with having, jailbait. That's probably not the right word.
So, yeah, she's finally clued onto the fact sleeping with inmates is fraught with issues.
Yeah, like, getting sacked, possibly getting put in prison, all that sort of stuff. So she's taken to Instagram to put down what it is that she wants in a man.
Okay. Right. So what is this list that she wants in a man?
So I'll leave the best one for last, right? Single.
That's handy. That's a good place to start.
Which is a good one. That's a good place to start. 6 foot.
Okay.
Over 28.
Okay.
Good communication.
Nice.
Doesn't have Snapchat.
Fair enough.
Doesn't send messages saying WYD, which stands for what you doing.
Oh, which is like a pickup thing.
Which is like a pickup line, yeah. Yep. In other words, can I come over and let's have sex?
Yep.
Has a job. That's always a good one.
Handy, yep.
Yeah. A car and a license. Another good one too. Invites me out on a date instead of saying, come over.
Hold on, time out for a second here. This is getting better. It's like, the type of man I want him to be 6 foot tall, over 28, and I want him to be able to wear pants. Like, seriously, she's really reaching for the stars there. I want him to have a license and a car.
Yes.
Jumping yowzers. I think she's done it there. I don't think there's a chance. She is not going to be able to find herself a single 6 foot guy over 28 years of age who also has a license and a car. There's not a chance. They just don't exist.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. So what was after license and a car again?
Okay, license and a car. Invites me out on a date instead of saying come over.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I mean, look, yeah, fair enough. We all love a good bit of flirtation and foreplay.
Isn't a bad boy.
Oh, that counts us out. Without
I know, that's it. Has a good relationship with his mum.
Right, that's a little creepy. But I understand what she's going for, and I respect that. Because a man who respects his mum also respects women. Yep.
And, wait for it, no foreskin. Let's just throw that one in for good measure.
Right. Okay, so she wants a good Jewish lad.
Good.
Or a good Catholic boy. Fair enough. Okay, that's right. Each to their own. Yep.
That's right. A little bit off the top. Thanks very much.
So one assumes, so if I was a therapist, I would be saying that there's a whole range of issues here.
You can unpack so much in that.
You certainly could. Let's start in with the foreskin. One assumes she's had a few issues with a few gamey foreskins.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Hey, prison, right? It's prison. Let's face it. Let's look at her measuring stick. Yeah, I guess you could. I'm pretty sure she had a measuring stick in prison.
Did she mention it in her list? No foreskin and must be more than 2 inches long. I mean, she's aiming high. We all know that because of the car and the license.
But I mean, what has she got to compare this list against? She's, people in prison, okay, guys in prison. Now, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of guys in there that go to the gym.
Okay.
Go
to the gym.
There's some that
she wants a guy who's
are
fully
bad
fit,
boys,
mate.
but they don't want to be bad boys.
Yeah.
look, every single one of them has a good relationship with his mum. I mean,
One would
that's
hope. Yeah.
well, no, but that's the whole thing. Except for the guy that I met that put his mum through the wood chipper. Everyone else used to ring their mum quite frequently.
Yeah, right. So, okay, so I still, going back to what I was saying earlier, I reckon the relationship with his mum is all about respect for women.
Yeah, no, yes and no.
If you've got a good relationship with your mum, you respect your mum. She's a woman. You respect the woman in her and stuff.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. There's a lot of guys in there that have that, you know, like they love their mum, and their mum's like the archetype of the family. But you know what? I'll treat my woman how I want to treat her.
Yeah, well, some men just need to learn, is what they need to learn, and some women need to learn to leave men that just don't treat them right.
And doesn't have Snapchat. Okay, so that rules out everyone under 16.
Right. So you think she's had a few relationships where the guy's been, scamming on her through Snapchat, hitting other women up, saying, "What you doing? Fancy a bit of Netflix and chill?"
WID, W-Y-D.
I just don't get the Snapchat thing. Don't get me wrong. You know, my boys have got Snapchat and stuff, and I've been talking to them about, making sure that they respect women online and in real life, of course. But, it all starts on the online aspect when they're communicating and stuff. And you just hear some shocking stories of women that are just, men are trying to, "Hi, beautiful, what you up to? What you doing? You want to come out and hang out and, hang out with me and my mates and, oh, you don't? What are you, some sort of cow? What are you, a fucking slut or something?" It's like, fuck's sake, guys, wake up to yourself and grow up, for crying out loud.
Exactly.
If you treat a woman properly, I used to say to my son, if you treat a woman properly, she'll come back for more. And that's when it's different.
Yep.
And it's not about gifts. It's not about buying them stuff. It's about being nice and courteous. I personally grew up in a world of chivalry, so I, like to open doors and let a woman order her meal first and walk through it, all this sort of stuff. There's nothing wrong with any of that. And yes, some women may have an issue with that, and that's their choice as well, whatevs. But some guys, you just sit back and think, what fucking planet are you on, mate? If you think that treating women like that's going to get you some, let alone get them coming back for more. When a woman's coming back for more and stuff, it means you're doing it right, and that's where she wants to be, and that's the good stuff, right?
But she obviously did, though. I mean, and this is part of the problem. Okay, sure, she's changing her standards, lifting her standards up a bit.
Oh, particularly with the driver's license and a car.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can't go wrong with that.
Because, I mean, there's nothing like, oh, hang on, I'm coming over, I'm just catching the bus, I'll be there soon.
You know what it is? No, you know what it actually really is guys hitting women up and women going, "Oh, yeah, we'll go out. Oh, great, can you pick me up?"
Yeah.
And the guy's saying that the woman's got to pick them up and take them around the place and all that sort of stuff. It's like, fuck, man, if you're the man in the relationship, be
awkward?
The man.
Don't you feel awkward, like as a guy, like, if you're saying, "Oh, yeah, can you pick me up?"
I would, in fact, feel awkward as a guy. In fact, I'd feel subhuman at best.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I think that it's probably a prerequisite for anything.
Look, I don't know this girl. I don't know what issues she's had in the past, and whatever list she wants to put together, her business. Really, who am I to judge? If I was educating my daughter on putting a list together, I would say, you know what, I'd aim a little higher, like a mile higher.
Yeah.
The fact that you even need to put driver's license and car on there, to me, says you're doing the hunting through Logan.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yowzers.
Now, Andrew, we have got to get on board this luxury fast car giveaway. In fact, I think you already are.
I am, absolutely, and I even bought a few extra tickets last week as well. So
nice.
I am feeling ready to go. So they're still doing double entries.
So this is Iconic Motor House. Head over to
.com.
Yep.
And look, they're raffling off. They're giving away this absolute beast of a machine. This thing is unbelievable. Just over a week's time. So it's a black Club Sport R8, and I'm telling you, this thing is going to set hearts aflutter. And as someone who drives, I drive a high-powered V8, There is nothing like it in the world, driving a beautifully done, luxurious V8, particularly if you can get your hands on one that no one else has. One-of-a-kind car, it's kind of cool.
I thought my Mini was quite sporty until I realised that it's – someone said, it's a V3. I went, what's a V3? Really?
Mate, look,
Three
you
cylinders?
are going to be turning heads in the local bingo hall any day now. Absolutely. But this whole thing, Iconic Motorhouse, we all know they don't do Camrys. They only do real men's cars and cars for the ladies who want to show the rest of us up, I must admit.
Yeah.
These things are incredible. You will not find another car like this around. And they've got a second one coming up a few weeks after that as well, which is a custom HDT. I mean, it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. Nice. And they're both Holdens at the moment, which is fine. They're going to be doing other ones as well. I think they're going to get into a few European cars as well and a few other bits and pieces as time goes on. These guys are great, and they're the real deal too, which is fabulous.
We'll be bringing them on the show actually next week to have a chat with them, find out a little bit more about them and how they got started. Can't wait for that interview. So head over to Iconic Motorhouse. House is spelled Haus. So iconicmotorhouse.com and buy yourself some tickets in the draw.
And they'll double your entries and increase your odds as well, which is fabulous.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah. We all know ladies make an effort. They doll up, dress up, and when it comes to the most important moment of their evening, their attention to detail is in their choice of what's under their dress. It's time for men to man up down under. Make the effort with underwear that's comfortable. Let your package breathe and keeps a smile on her face. Visit manupdownunder.com.au and buy a week's supply for your package. Man Up Down Under. Underwear that cups your junk like the soft hands of an angel. Oh, yeah.
This is the Bad Boys Podcast.
Welcome.
Welcome
back to the Bad Boys Podcast. And look, I got to talk about something, mate. I got to say my piece on this whole Joe Rogan, Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, Brené Brown stuff. And I know we touched on a little bit of this last week, right?
Yeah. The whole cancel culture thing, yeah.
Right. And it's the cancel culture I want to talk about because there have been some instances where people have gone woke and now they're going broke. And because they're trying to do the whole they're trying to get someone cancelled because that person has the audacity of having a different viewpoint and expressing that different viewpoint, and it's actually backfiring on them in a big way. Now, the whole Joe Rogan thing, explain that to everybody so we're all crystal clear again.
Well, what actually happened was Neil Young decided to remove his music from Spotify unless Spotify removed Joe Rogan from there.
And his podcast and thing. And the reason why was because Joe Rogan interviewed a particular doctor, and that doctor had views associated with coronavirus that were different to what the establishment wants us to consume.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So part of the issue I've got here, because it wasn't just Neil Young, it was Joni Mitchell, Brené Brown said her bit as well.
The whole Crosby, Stills and Nash, they joined in as well. You know, there's also now NDRE has come out and has removed her music for a slightly different reason as well, mind you.
Right. What was her reason?
Hers was that Joe Rogan consistently used the N-word.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's park the N-word discussion very, very quickly because I do want to get back to that. So this whole cancel culture thing. So these guys are basically saying he interviewed someone who had a different opinion on coronavirus and it was hazardous to people's health because they might actually listen to him. See, the interesting thing here is what a lot of people don't realize is he also interviewed people who were towing the line with the establishment, who were, pro the coronavirus story. And so he was kind of presenting both sides, but these people have only objected to them, having to hear or him presenting a view. Now, first of all, I don't think any of these people would have actually listened to his podcast, first of all.
Exactly.
I can't imagine Joni Mitchell sitting down, chewing down on a bit of 3 to 6 hours of Joe Rogan and an alternate coronavirus theory. So, but that's not the issue. I don't think the issue has got anything to do with coronavirus at all.
No.
I think the issue is there is a culture building across the world where entitled people think that the government, the people above the government, whoever they are, the establishment, whatever you want to call them, they think that they have that establishment has the right to dictate what we think, how we act, and what we believe. And I think it's a big issue. I think it's a really, really, really big issue confronting us right now because, look, I'm not going to get caught up in the coronavirus carry on, right?
It's actually got nothing to do with that.
Right. That's exactly right because people are getting cancelled left, right and centre for things that – like people are carrying on because J.K. Rowling had a different opinion associated with transgender. She's got some traditional views. Now, hold on a second. Why aren't we cancelling the Catholic Church then?
Yeah.
Like outright cancelling the Catholic Church.
Well, what about all of the black rappers that are out there that, you know, quite blatantly talk about abuse to women in their songs?
Right.
What about cancelling them?
Right. That's exactly right. Like it is people only speak up and call for cancellation when it suits whatever agenda that they're aligned with. That's it.
So Rumble has actually come out and said that they wanted to offer Joe Rogan $100 million, you know, over the next 4 years
to leave Spotify and bring his podcast across.
Yeah, and basically say, you know, you're going to be uncensored. You can, you know, you can do what you like. Now, and there was a funny one which we'll talk about in a minute as well. That JP Sears has done, you know, which it was very clever. But my issue that I have with this whole thing is not about the censorship, right? Yes, there is certain things, and the NDRE, you know, story about using the N-word. Apparently, he was using the N-word to highlight something. Okay, should he have used it? So maybe not.
This is the interesting thing here, and this is what I don't understand. As an adult, I have a right to choose what I want to listen to. Mm-hmm. Now, if someone starts throwing the N-word around,
what do?
You know what I do?
You turn it off.
I switch off.
Exactly.
I turn it off. It's simple as that. It's like if I'm hearing people carrying on about transgender people and the fact that they should have no rights to do what they're doing and that, I switch it off.
Yeah.
You know, look, yes, I should perhaps use the platform to say my bit, but look, in the greater scheme of things, every single person on this planet has a right to believe what they want to believe. It's an inherent right as part of a human being.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if we went along that path, then every single episode of Monty Python would have been cancelled.
Look, every single episode of everything, really. Like, again, I come back to the Catholic Church. Why are they not cancelling the Catholic Church? The Catholic Church have openly said that gays are abhorrent and have no place in society, that transgender people and stuff had no place in their schools. There was a school in up Queensland way, Brisbane or something like that tried to get parents to sign a contract that basically said that their child is the gender they were born with, e.g. not transgender, and therefore then they will be allowed to stay at the school. Now, that backfired on the school and they pulled the contracts and will hold them over for another day. But that is just a shining example of the church using its authority to enforce its views on people. Now, okay, I've got my own thoughts about the Catholic Church. I was raised in the Catholic Church. Why anybody even thinks that they have a voice in modern society, I just don't know. They have proven themselves so fucking irrelevant over the years. To me, it's not funny. But I will always respect their right and the right of their parishioners, who mostly are good people, to believe what they want to believe. In the same way, I respect Muslims and the Hindus and the Buddhists and every other known, the Christians and all the rest of it. They have a right to believe what they want to believe. Is that right extended to people who want to believe things that maybe become radicalized? Sure. I personally draw the line when it starts to hurt people.
Yeah.
When radicalization of beliefs then is used as a weapon, right? So I don't support terrorism in the American sense of the word, which is pointed at Muslims.
Yeah.
You know, using radicalized Islam and stuff to hurt people. If anybody's got half a fucking brain and has been paying attention for the last millennia, they will know that the Catholics and the Christians have caused more wars than Muslims ever have, tenfold, and more people have died as a result.
But okay, so, that's when there's violence involved, right?
Right. But isn't this cancel culture a type of violence? Well, in the same way that male coercion in domestic violence situations is, you know, just the physical, psychological coercion of someone is an act of violence as well?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And so this is where the big issue lies, okay? Why should there be a coercion by the censors to stop someone from saying what they feel, what they believe?
Yeah.
Right? And in Rogan's case, he didn't even say what he believed yes, he is very vocal about what he believes, but in the case of a couple of episodes, like, for example, with the coronavirus episode, he was interviewing someone for their belief and their viewpoint.
Their point of view.
Now, as a podcaster, right, this is our opportunity to say what we want to say. And in fact, when we first started Bad Boys Podcast, there was a guy that we met in radio who actually said to us, you guys should be able to say what you want to say because you're the bad boys.
Yep.
Right? So
it's not like we're hiding it from anybody. It's not like we're saying, right. Yep.
Exactly. What's your viewpoint on it? Because this is our view. We don't give a shit. Now suddenly we're in a position where, should we be careful about what we say here?
Right. And you know my thoughts on that. My thoughts is fuck that.
Exactly. But in the light of cancel culture, it puts everybody with their viewpoint at risk. Now, someone like a singer in the ilk of Nash, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, they've always they have always been vocal about what they believed. In fact,
right, and same was Neil Young. Yeah, Neil Young himself was almost a rebel in the music industry.
Exactly. He had the song "Rockin' in the Free World."
Right.
I mean, well, sorry, it's not "Rockin' in the Free World" anymore. It's "Rockin' in the Slightly Censored or Completely Censored World." Or maybe we can't rock anymore. Maybe we're just nodding our heads.
Rocking in the world that we're told to live in.
Yeah. Look, this is the most craziest situation where, and I said this right at the start, that I don't believe that his comments were really related to what Joe Rogan was saying. His comments were relating to money. His comments were related. This is where, right? And this has actually come out. So Neil Young has now come out and said that he has told the Spotify staff that they should quit their job or risk losing their soul. Because
seriously.
Yep, because Daniel Ek is not about helping artists, right? It is all about numbers, not art, not creativity.
Well, then they're going to have to, every person who's ever held a job in corporate America or corporate Western society has to give up their job as well for exactly the same reason.
Yeah.
Right?
So, he's hiding behind the real issue here, right? He's hiding behind the skirt of Joe Rogan, when in actual fact, what he really wanted to say had nothing to do with Joe Rogan at all. It had to do with Spotify. And he's finally come out and said to the musicians and creators of the world, I say this, you must be able to find a better place than Spotify to be the home of your art. Right. Well, guess what? I'm saying the same thing to Joe Rogan as well. Find another place to be where you have freedom of speech as well.
And look, I agree with what you've just said. I think there are issues with Spotify taking more than their fair share of the pie of other people's IP and creativity and music and all that sort of stuff, right? Yeah. But these other people, they complain as well about, I'm only getting 0.0005 of a cent in the dollar or something like that, right? Okay, then take your music off Spotify. If you don't like the arrangement, take it off there and find an alternative platform. They're around.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd probably get paid more from Apple. Not much more.
No,
but you might get paid more. But you know what I mean? That's people. If people want your music, they'll find your music no matter where you're selling it.
Exactly. And look, you know what? Just to sort of wrap this up, I love the take that JP Sears had on it. So JP Sears, if you haven't come across any of his material before, he's a very funny guy. You know, he really pokes the bear, takes the piss out of everything. So he's put together a letter from the founder and creator of Zion. It's like a Bitcoin, right?
Right.
It's like a big tech company. And he said, Zion will help you promote your show without censoring. We have the inability to censor, so therefore we won't censor. We're completely decentralized. I mean, the whole thing was just a piss take, right?
Yes.
Now, where the truth of this whole conversation really comes out is in the comments. And if you go into the comments, which, I've got to say are absolutely priceless.
Yes.
So this one woman has piped up and said, Bitcoin is evil because it's used in the trafficking of children.
You're right. And human trafficking and drugs and all this sort of stuff, basically. She was saying it was the devil.
Now, okay, all right. This is the twisted logic. Someone else piped up and I put a comment on there and said, oh my God, cars are used to transport drugs, maybe cars are also used in accidents, so therefore we should be boycotting cars.
Right, and someone else also said people use the US dollar.
Yes.
To pay for bad deeds all over the world, including war.
We should be,
We should drop the US dollar.
So, this is the craziness of the situation, right?
The interesting thing is further down in her comment, she then later said, oh, no, I'm into other cryptos. just I won't use Bitcoin because Bitcoin is used for evil purposes. And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
So I mean, look, it was a bit of a crazy situation, with what she said. But the truth of it is this: we can't cancel someone like Joe Rogan just because he shares details about something that you disagree with.
Right, or he has a different opinion to what you have.
That's right. We should either accept or not accept his opinion, accept or not accept the opinion of the people that he has on as guests, and then move on.
Right. Like we should do for everything. Like people, they're not asking for the ABC to be cancelled.
No.
They're not asking for CNN to be cancelled or Fox News to be. Well, actually, they are asking for
everyone asks for Fox News to be cancelled.
But my point being is, just because someone else has a different opinion to you doesn't mean that you have to shut down their livelihood. It doesn't mean you have to destroy everything that is ever associated with them or anything like that.
Yeah.
Everybody's entitled to have a different opinion. We're entitled to have a different opinion. If you've got a different opinion to us, share it. We'll celebrate the fact that you're sharing your opinion. We may not agree with it.
Yeah.
Right? We may not promote it, but we certainly would respect your right to have it. And I think that is what we need to come back to as a human society. I think we need to reconnect with everybody's right to believe, to think, and even to act. Now, I personally draw the line, as I said earlier, when it comes to harming people. I don't think someone should choose to act in a way that harms someone else.
No.
Well, the simple fact that as far as cancel culture is concerned, I think it is like a psychological violence, that people who think they've got a right, these so-called, as is the crude term, Karens in society, who have got nothing better to do but to sit around and bitch and moan about other people, because actually the real problem that's going on there is they're unhappy in their own life and they don't feel like they can do anything about it. You know what? They need to pull their thumb out of their butts for 5 minutes and just realise, oh, you know what? Actually, there's other stuff going around me that is what humanity's all about.
Yeah, 100% agree. Yeah.
Just my thoughts. If you don't like it, that's fine. Don't listen. If you do like it, great. Let me know. If you've got a different opinion, Tell it to me, because I'd love to hear it, because that's what makes the world go round.
Yeah. And if you are a Neil Young fan and you're having trouble removing Spotify from your old radiola,
or anything
try
from
listening
the
to some
areola
updated
or
music
any other
instead.
Oh, God, help us.
Now, before we go, don't forget we have tickets for you to go and see Blacklight starring Liam Neeson. I was going to say Neil Young there for a minute. Starring Liam Neeson, and that's on at the cinemas at the moment. For you and 9 of your mates, we're going to give you tickets to take all your friends to go and see the movie. It'll be a great night out with the boys, or a great night out with the girls if you want to have a bit of a look at Liam Neeson all buffed up. Oh, that's really scary, isn't it? He's probably older than bloody Methuselah.
Older than you and I put together, but he does have a unique set of skills.
Exactly. So, yeah, make sure you head over to our website. You can enter the competition there. We've only got a few days left. It's finishing the end of the week, so make sure you enter as well.
Nice.
And
love it. Good movie, actually.
It was, yeah. It was a good movie. Yeah. Great movie, yeah. Do you want to mention the social media?
The social media? You do the social media. I don't even know what our social media is. I know Bad Boys FM.
So what's the website?
badboysfm.com. Great radio, music with attitude, and even the odd occasional sultry tune.
There you go. And make sure you head over to our social media pages. Official Bad Boys Podcast on both Facebook and Instagram. Keep those cat memes coming. Can't wait.
You'd think we'd get it right by now, wouldn't you, really?
Thanks, guys. Press plus or follow to hear more great episodes from the Bad Boys. Or check us out on our social media at Official Bad Boys Podcast on both Facebook and Instagram.
That's awesome. Done. Like a dinner.